Hi everyone, my name is Monique and welcome to today's episode of Monique's Home. So when your kids are home with you, they're doing their artwork, they're crafting, or they're building towers with their blocks, notice how many times in a day you actually say, good job. And so why do we not want to say good job all the time? It's okay once in a while, but not every time that your kids show you their work. Well, we don't want to say it because we don't want to be passing judgment. We don't want our children to grow and think that it's either I'm doing a good job or I'm not doing a good job. When we think about a lot of our positive child guidance strategies, it's also really for the long run. We're investing in our language and our relationship now for our children's future, for what they'll become when they're older. So when you think about it, when they're in school and they're doing, let's say, they're writing a piece or they're doing their artwork, or when they're, working at a job already, you want them to be able to pinpoint exactly what it is that they're doing right. Because in that way, if they're not doing a good job, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, when they're not on the right track, then they can evaluate specifically what it is that they're doing that can help them get on the right track, or what they're doing that needs to stop, or what they need to change in the process. So we want them to be able to evaluate versus just judging themselves or judging their work as either it's good or it's bad and I can't do anything about it. And how do we do that? It's very simple, really. It's just starting with thinking of other ways that we can say good job to our children. And we start by observing to evaluate and not to pass judgment. So we think about what we say to our child really when they're doing their art, when they're building blocks. So the first thing to do is to be more specific. Saying good job is very vague. What is it that they're really doing good at? Is it with their gluing? Is it with their coloring? Is it with their writing? So choose a specific adjective. For example, you can say, oh, I can see that you're being very resourceful by using scrap fabric that we have around the house. Oh, I can see that you are being very patient coloring inside the lines and really making sure that there are no white spaces left in your coloring. If you can't think of a specific adjective right at that moment, like for me, for example, I blank out a lot of times because I'm usually working or doing something else and my kids come up to me and show me their artwork or want to show me their block creations, then I just describe what I see. So just take a look at what they're doing and just basically talk about that. So you could say things like, I can see that you're picking up the small blocks and putting it on top of the bigger blocks. Or for example, they're coloring. You can say, I can see that you used a lot of darker orange around the edges of your artwork. You use a lot of dark blue in the middle, or you used dot paints for the sun. And when you do this, also when you're describing what you see, you're actually adding more to their vocabulary. So it's a lot of concepts and not just you trying to teach them how to evaluate themselves and not to pass judgment, but you're actually even building their vocabulary for size, their vocabulary for color, and just being a little bit more intentional in the language that you use also helps them to learn more of these concepts and also grow their vocabulary. Another thing you can do instead of saying good job is to ask questions. And this also helps our children feel good about what they're doing, feel good about a relationship because we're making a connection and we're showing that we're actually interested in what they're doing. So especially during those times when you don't have a clue as to what your child is drawing, for the younger kids, and you don't know what they're drawing and you don't want to assume that it's a cat because what if it's not, or if it's a ball because what if it's not, right? You can just simply ask them what it is. So you can say, oh, I can see that you're drawing something. Can you tell me what it is? Can you tell me what this curved line is? Or could you tell me what this straight line is for? Or if they're building a block creation, you can just simply say, oh, I see. I can see a tall structure. Can you tell me what it is? Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing here? And again, that doesn't take a lot of thinking on your part. You don't have to think of a specific adjective. You don't even have to keep on thinking about how to describe what they're doing because you might be wrong about it. So let the talking come from them. In this way, you're building up their self-esteem even, making them feel that you're really interested in what's happening. There you go. What do you do instead of saying good job? It might take a little bit of a practice, but once you get the hang of it, then it will just flow out naturally, even if you're busy doing your work or doing things around the house. So 1, use specific adjectives. 2, describe what you see. Or 3, ask your child to tell you about their work. So thank you again for joining me today. I will see you next time. Consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel, Monique's Home. Follow me on Instagram at Monique's Home. Visit my website, www.moniqueshome.com. I will be putting a Christmas bundle up there soon for Christmas crafts and baking and other things that you could do with your child this holiday season. I will see you next time. Remember to make every day your own version of extraordinary.